Yeah, I do this because no one did it for me. Hello, Pokemac here, and I recently made a blog where I explained why the blue curtains meme is such a important criticism of lit analysis class and English class. And afterwards, I just kind of had a little bit of a self reflection of why do I care still? I'm 32 years old. I haven't been in formal education for over a decade at this point. So, like, why do I still get so passionate about this topic? And I realized that's because I needed it back when I was a 16-year-old kid going through this sort of stuff, and it didn't exist. I'd spend hours just searching through Google searches and results and just desperately trying to find someone, anyone that could help me understand why I didn't like English class so much, why I hated The Catcher in the Rye and The Crucible and uh, Johnny Got His Gun, The Great Gatsby, and other things, and why I hated doing all this symbolism stuff so bad. But I wasn't able to really find any results. I wasn't able to find anything that really sorry, I'm a little sick. That really spoke to me and explained it and helped me understand my feelings. I had a couple of friends that agreed with me, but they were like me and they're like, "Yeah, this is stupid. I don't know why it's stupid, but it's stupid." And my teachers, obviously they weren't any help because they thought it was great and they thought I was just wrong and being an angsty teen. And it's like online I wasn't able to really find much of anything either. And sure, this was 2009 to 2011 when YouTube and stuff wasn't super big, but personal blogs and YouTube, it kind of was a bit of a thing. And MySpace and GeoCities and LiveJournal, those were all big things back then. But it was like no one was really talking about this. So the first time that I really saw anyone give any kind of real criticism to the likes of Catcher in the Rye was South Park with the Tale of Scrody McBoogerballs. Uh, that like that really resonated with me because it's like finally someone else says it, and they say that it's like no, this book is boring. It's not genius, and if you really want something controversial, there's a whole lot more that's controversial out there these days. Uh, and that really resonated with me because it's like, yeah, Catcher in the Rye. It was so controversial back in the day because it was the first, but now we got things that are far more controversial. It's completely tame by today's standards. So that's like also no one was talking about the problems with the Crucible, and nobody talked about how John Proctor's a sex offender, where the entire reason that all the things that happen in the Crucible is because this grown man had a relationship with a 15-year-old girl. This grown man who has children of his own had a relationship with a 15-year-old girl. That's why everything in the Crucible happened. And no one had brought that up before. That was something I had to come up with on my own. So, yeah, that's and because there wasn't anything out there, I felt really lost. It wasn't until Nostalgia Critic where in 2013, so when he started like actually explaining this is why a movie's bad, this is the problems with the way in which it's presenting its story, this is the problem in which it is given its character motivations, as opposed to just saying, ha ha, this movie that you liked in your childhood, it's actually a bad movie and I'm going to make jokes about it. It's like, no, he actually started getting into real literary criticism. And like, that's when things started to click. I'm like, oh, so that's why. That's how you actually critique a story and explain why something is entertaining or not. This is what surface level criticism is, and how you can actually review something on the surface level as opposed to just focusing on what makes it so big and deep. But it's like that happened after I was in high school and passed those sort of classes. And even then, it was related to movies. It wasn't related to the books that we were reading. And translatable skills, but they weren't direct skills. So what I hope to do with what I do now when I make my video on the Great Gatsby and why I think it's boring and why I made my review of Mona Lisa Smile and all the problems that and how it just like represents every single problem that I had with English class and why the blue curtains meme is such a real criticism of English literature and the lit classes that we have. And then all my videos on The Catcher in the Rye. Still haven't done my big analysis, breakdown, deconstruction, tearing apart of Catcher in the Rye. I got all my notes, but I gotta go through and like do a whole bunch of writing and write the script and try to get it all together. One day, not today, but everything that I've done, it's like it'd be a godsend from me to 16-year-old me. This is all the kind of stuff that I was looking for back when I was 16 years old because I felt really alone. I spend hours searching. I hate Catcher in the Rye. I hate symbolism. I hate English class. English class sucks. And I wasn't getting any good results. And of course, my English teachers didn't think that because, they're all for it. And again, I had some friends that agreed with me, but, I still felt very, very alone. No one was able to really explain why I had the frustrations that I had. And I just hope that I'm able to help people understand their frustrations and why it was so frustrating and why they have such problems with like lit analysis and think these books are boring and why the symbolism is stupid and all those different problems. So it's like I hope that I'm able to put that out there. I hope that I am able to help someone understand their frustrations these with this literature and this subject. Because it's not like with math class or science class where it's like the numbers just don't really compute and it's well known about like dyslexia and people having difficulty with the numbers. It's like no, you're just you're just a pleb who doesn't understand good literature. uh but it's like no, there's a lot more to it. So yeah, hopefully I tag this right and it reaches the people that it needs to be reached because I definitely needed this back in the day. And now I'm putting it out there for the people that were like me because I've been doing this for 16 years. It took me 16 years to get to this point, and I was making these sort of videos like back when I was a high schooler, and they it was just the same sort of things of I just think that's boring, but now it's like I actually have the words to explain why. Well, this has been Pokemac signing off, and bye bye.